Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for joining me today for our Nimble training webinar. My name is Michaela Underdahl and I'm Nimble's community manager. Today we will be focusing on activities in Nimble, and I'll walk you through all the different ways how you can use Nimble's default activities like tasks, calls, as well as custom activities that you can configure yourself, like press briefings, sales calls, product demos, etc. We are recording this session, so everybody who registered will receive a recording of today's session later today. At the end of today's session, we will also have a quick Q&A. So please, if you have any questions right now or anything comes up during the presentation, please let us know in the question box and we will answer all of them at the end of the webinar. So what are Nimble activities or activities in Nimble? Nimble activities are tasks. Tasks are basically your to-dos. We also consider activities events. So those will be any events that show up on your calendar. And you maybe know or maybe don't know that you can actually connect multiple calendars to Nimble. So it doesn't matter if you're maybe using Google Calendar for your personal use, and then you have Outlook Calendar for work. You can connect both of them to Nimble, and then you will be able to see all the activities, all your events on our Today page, on individual contact records, and also under our Activities tab. Recently, we have introduced a new feature that gives you the ability to configure your own custom activities. So it really depends on your use case. It can be sales calls, it can be press briefings or product trainings, and you also have the option to use a stay in touch reminders in Nimble and make it so these custom activities will automatically reset the stay in touch reminder. So you have the option in Nimble to come up with a list of contacts that are important to you, and then tell Nimble, okay, so I want to make sure that I'm staying in touch with this person on a monthly basis. And then if you call them or if you send them an email, so emails will actually, if you connect your email to Nimble, emails will automatically reset the reminder, as well as Twitter interactions and Twitter direct messages. But with the custom activities, you can set it so these custom activities will also reset the reminder. So then you don't have to think about it, and the people will disappear from your to-do list, and you can move on to the next person that you need to be following up with. Recently, we also created, we came up with a new feature that's called activity listing. Under activity listing in Nimble, you'll be able to see a comprehensive table of scheduled and completed activities. You can configure all the columns in there, and it's a really useful feature for individuals because you can pull up a list of all your activities, all your calls, all your meetings, and make sure that you're going through them and get done with everything at the end of the day or at the end of the week. It really depends on the view that you set up for yourself. And it's very useful for managers too, because they can now measure the performance of their team. They can pull up activities based on each team member, and now they can also export the activities in case they want to report on it during the meeting. So here we are in Nimble, on Nimble's contact record. And if you want to schedule a call or add a note to a contact record, you would click on schedule right here. So tasks, as I mentioned, they're to-dos. So it could be anything, follow up on marketing meeting. You get the option to add a task description. If it's if it's something that happened in the past, you also get an option to mark it as complete, but we actually came up with a feature that's specifically made for that. So I'll cover it in a second. On all activities, you can set up the due date. So it can be today, tomorrow, or a specific date and time. So I pick from the view here. I can assign it to myself or anybody else on my team, and I can also relate it to multiple contacts. If there's a deal pending that's related to this task, you can also attach the deal to the task, and you can also use tags for your task. So in case you have tasks that are related to any sales activities, you can tag them as sales, and then when you're coming up with a view of all the things that you need to follow up that day or that week, you can just pull up the tag and maybe tackle the sales related follow-ups first. So I'll save it. And as you can see, under Interactions tab in Nimble, under All, you'll be able to see all the things that are related to the specific contact record. So if there's a deal, if you scheduled any to-dos for that are related to the contact record, and you can also see all past activities. So these include your emails and Twitter interactions as well. Let's say there's a lot going on with this specific person and you would want to filter just based on the activities. We also have a sub-tab that's called activities, so you can just select that and see all the activities here, and you can further refine it by just looking at the calls, any deals, or any events. I mentioned that we also have a feature that allows you to log any past activities. So you would click on log activity here. You would select which activity is. Is it a to-do, or is it a calendar event? Was it a phone call? Or we also have custom activity here. So this is where you could basically configure any activity that that makes sense for you. So I chose press briefing and product training. So you would fill it up the same way as we did with the task and save it. So we should probably cover where you can set up the custom activities. So if you want to explore it, you would click on the circle in the top right corner in your Nimble account here. You would go into settings, and on the left side, you would select activities. That's going to be the last option. So under this tab, you will see that all the calls here, events and tasks. These are the default ones that you can change, but these are all. This is where you could set up the custom activity. So this is one of the custom activities I already set up. You also get to pick an icon here. So it can really be anything. It can be called sales call. You can set the icon here. And I already touched on our stay in touch reminder. So if you want, every time you log a custom activity like sales call, if you would like Nimble to automatically reset the stay in touch activity, you would check the box here. Click on create, and we can go back to the contact record. Click on schedule activity, custom activity, and now we are able to use the custom activity that we called sales call. So in addition to you being able to see all your activities on the individual contact records, you can also see them on Today page. So under tasks, in this box, you will see all the tasks that are upcoming, that you either scheduled for yourself or anybody from your team delegated to you. You can sort on open tasks, upcoming, overdue, those that have been completed, important ones, and then you can also see your team activities here. In regards to your calendar events, I mentioned that you can connect multiple calendars to Nimble. So this is where you could select which calendar you would like to see, and Nimble would only show the calendar events that are shown on your calendar. So let's move over to activities listing. So we have a tab that's called activities in Nimble. The first tab It's called Agenda. This is where you can view all the activities that you have scheduled for yourself or any task that anybody from your team delegated to you. On the left side here in the calendar, you can choose the time frame that you're interested in seeing. You can also use our filters. You can show, you can deselect these and only view your tasks. Maybe you want to see tasks and calls, or only custom activities. You could also use the tag that we created. So you would just pull up here, and Nimble would show you just the activities that that are under the tag that you created to help you really focus on the thing that you want to get done that day. You can also toggle through your calendars. So if you connect in multiple calendars, you can deselect or select them here and only focus on the one that is important to you. Under listing here, that's the other tab that we have, and that's actually one of our most recent features in Nimble. The activity listing is supposed to help you go through your to-do list. So here you can filter by types of activity. So you can view entire list of your activities, or you can only focus on tasks, or only events. You can also choose if you want to see only activities that are related to you or anybody else on your team. So if you're the manager, if you're the account administrator, you will be able to go through all your team members in Nimble and see how they're doing, how they're completing their tasks. If there are any tasks that maybe need attention, if you can maybe ping them to get the calls moving. You can also, as a manager, you can also export. So you can select which time frame you're interested in. You can only export the filtered activities if you were just working with a filtered view, or you can export on all activities. In addition to filters, you can also configure the tables. So all the individual columns you see here, you can click on Configure Table here and tell Nimble which are the columns that are important to you. So maybe if you're following up using your phone, you would want to see the phone number, or the location, or anything else. You can also use these pins to move the columns that are important to you to the front. And as you can see, here's a little lock sign. It locks it in place, so you are only focusing on the columns that are important to you. You can always change the time frame here, and you can also save filters. So I already saved my events, but let's say I wanted to focus on my calls. I could save that filter as well. Okay, so it took me to settings because I clicked on settings, so my bad. So when you want to save filter, you would click on this button right here. And you would just save it, and then you would be able to pick from the save searches here. I also wanted to cover that you can access all your activities using our browser extensions. If you're not using our browser extensions, I will ask my colleague Megan, who's in the background, to share a link with you where you can download them. It's nimble.com/widget, and Nimble will already know what browser you are using, and it will help you to download and install the extension on the browser that you're using. We also have add-ins and browser and extensions for Gmail. If you're using Gmail and download the extension for your browser, it will be automatically installed to Gmail, so you will probably just have to refresh. And the way it works is that every time you're opening an email, Nimble will be sitting on the right side, helping you create and update your contact records, and you will also be able to see you will also have the entire view into the relationship with the person by being able to see what has been done with the person and all the things that need to get done, like any activities. Are there any meetings scheduled in the near future? Are there any notes that you or anybody on your team added to the contact record? And you can create new ones, you can update existing ones, or you can simply just use it to take a look what's been done with the person. So that's the Gmail one. The way it works on your browser is that we will plug in little icons, so it will be sitting next to your other browser extensions, and every time you want to use it, you can just click on it, and a sidebar on the right side will pop up, and you'll be able to just hover over any name anywhere on the internet, LinkedIn, Twitter, or you can just pull it up on a company website. And if you don't have this person or the company inside of your Nimble database, we will be able to help you create a contact record. If you have the person or the company in Nimble, we will pull up the record and you'll be able to make any updates or just see all the information that you have on the person or the company. We also have add-ins for Outlook. So no matter if you're using Outlook for desktop or the web version, we have these add-ins as well. So it will allow you to quickly create and update Nimble records, including adding any activities and so on. So our next training webinars. I already mentioned at the beginning of today's session that we decided to do, in addition to these training webinars that are focusing on individual features, we decided to throw in basically entire Nimble demo. So the next coming one will be one focusing on creating pipelines and tracking deals and reports in Nimble. It will happen on August 28th. And the following week, on September 4th, we will do the entire demo. So if you'd like to watch a demo that will walk you through the entire product, we will go into settings, review how you can connect everything into Nimble, and as well as going through each individual tab in Nimble and all features. On September 11th, we already have scheduled a training webinar that will focus on how to prospect better and smarter with Nimble. In this webinar, we will be focusing on all the extensions that I was just talking about, where you can use them, how you can use them, and I'll show you what they look like on different browsers, what they look like inside of Gmail, what they look like inside of Outlook on desktop or Outlook web version. And on September 25th, we will be focusing on using Nimble as a team, and we will also cover what our mobile applications look like. And since I just mentioned mobile, if you're a current Nimble customer or you're in trial and you haven't downloaded the mobile apps, please do so and check it out, because it really helps you to stay connected to everything you need to get done on the go. We also have a really useful feature for scanning business cards. So you can basically just pull up Nimble mobile app and take a picture of a business card, and Nimble will automatically create a contact record for the person. And while you're doing that, you can also automatically create any notes or set up a follow-up right away. So if you're at a conference or at some networking event, or you just had a meeting with somebody who gave you a business card, this is a great way to make sure that whatever you may have discussed will really get done. So you can create a to-do for yourself, or you can create to-do for somebody on your team. And as you create the task for them, they will immediately receive a notification on their end, and they'll be able to start working on it. Once they complete it, you will get a notification that it's been completed, and it will also get recorded under the relevant contact records. So you'll always see who delegated what and if it was done. We also have a special offer for new users today. So if you're in trial and Nimble looks like something that you might be benefiting from, please take advantage of the free trial. If you go on nimble.com/offer/webinar30, you can get 30 days of Nimble for free. And during this trial, you can actually invite your entire team for free and test out all our features. So thank you again and have a great day.